Insomnia is one of those things that it's so hard to explain to someone that has never dealt with it. The world would go quiet around me. My mind would just start racing. And then it would race even more, thinking about all the implications of what not sleeping would have on me the next day and the next day after that. I tried to access results online without my doctor. I couldn't read the report correctly, but I could see the images. I started to believe that it showed a mass on my brain. By this stage, I started to believe that I had brain cancer. Fuck, this is crazy. This is all true.
I've always had a love for the water. Family camping holidays at the beach introduced me to the world of surfing and bodyboarding, which I quickly become infatuated with and crave to learn. I developed a deep love for the ocean, and it was something that was always on my mind. I guess you could call it an obsession. As I got older and some of us got licenses and started to travel away to chase waves, I started to imagine how amazing it would be to record some of these travels and waves to share with others. A life that truly felt like it revolved around chasing that feeling, watching a swell forecast a week out, planning to travel to the destination, and then that feeling you get when you arrive and it's all come together. It's addictive. The chase took me all over the world and to some of the most remote and isolated corners of Australia, my fascination with the landscape forever evolving. The ocean gave me solace and direction that I was craving in my life, an outlet to escape the confronts of society. It gave me a connection to nature and a peacefulness to be here in the moment. I'd regularly wake up in the dark to make sure I was in the ocean before there was a hint of light in the sky. That feeling I got from being alone and vulnerable in the dark ocean and watching the day begin, the colours as they shift from the sky to the water, the way in which the water will hold me up and the waves will drag me down. These moments would bring me such an inner peace and freedom. My life took a big pivot around this point. I felt the undeniable pressure to grow up and get a real job. I enrolled in university and started to work part-time for a large retail company. The aim was to clear any remaining debt I had from chasing waves around the world. Working full-time left me craving more and more that feeling I got from the ocean. I had a strong pull and desire to further connect with nature, and I found what I was looking for in remote hiking. It was something that was always available whenever I needed it. I felt like I was discovering a whole new beauty around me. This was when Ash came into my life, and it was something that I was so eager to share with her. We started to go on hikes together at any free opportunity, a mutual love for the outdoors.
I don't think anything at all prepares you to be a parent, and I remember just being so scared but so excited about what the future would bring and all the things that could happen. It was around this kind of time as a parent that I felt like I started to have a lot more weight of expectation on myself and a lot more pressure to provide. Over the next few years, I felt myself slowly starting to feel burnt out, like I wasn't enjoying my role in my job anymore, but I felt like I had to be there because we needed that money to survive.
I felt time poor and I felt like I was struggling in all of my roles. When I was at work, I didn't feel like I had the energy to look after my staff. When I was at home, I felt like I was always tired and grumpy. I noticed a shift in my body and in my mind. Normal day-to-day started to feel really hard. I struggled to get out of bed in the morning. I was always getting minor injuries that stopped me from doing the things that I wanted to do. My body was feeling old and it felt like it was failing me. It honestly felt like an endless repeat of physios, doctors, scans and painkillers. My body was crippled with inflammation. 2019, Noel was born. It should have been the happiest time of my life, but I felt like I was drowning. I wanted to change my life so badly, but I felt like I couldn't walk away from the money. I'd be a failure to my family. Looking back in hindsight, it was really no surprise that this all led to a proper breakdown in 2023. I'd neglected looking after my body and mind for so long. I'd ignored all the signs. I had a particularly stressful period at work that set off a chain reaction that would leave me struggling to survive. It started with a few nights of no sleep and then turned into full-blown insomnia for over 30 days. I find it so hard to explain what insomnia is like to people who have never experienced it, a crippling anxiety over the thought of not sleeping again and how this would impact my life and those around me.
I was lucky if I was getting an hour of sleep a night. I would basically lay there in bed for hours and I would rotate into every different room in the house to try to help myself sleep. I was cycling through different prescription medications and just nothing was working. The longer it went on, the more that anxiety of not sleeping would come to the forefront.
It really started to impact Ash. She stopped being able to go to work because we both feared about me being alone. I felt like the biggest burden on my family.
It was by this stage that I actually believed that I was never going to sleep properly again. Your brain starts to be pretty cruel and play some pretty terrible tricks on you, and I started to believe that there was like something wrong with me that allowed me not to sleep. I started to develop a lot of physical symptoms as well that went with the insomnia. Twitches, spasms, and just really weird stuff started to happen to my body, which basically turned my anxiety around insomnia into a full-blown health anxiety.
I was convinced I had a neurological condition. I had scans and MRIs, and it didn't matter how many assurances I received, my mind still believed I was sick. I felt like I was at a crossroad and I either had to fight harder or just give up. I tried another medication and I decided to give meditation another go. This time I was going to make it work. I started doing guided meditation 3 times a day. Very slowly, I felt some small improvements. Some of my physical symptoms started to reduce. I felt a little calmer and more self-aware. I really started to focus on learning how to breathe correctly. How to use my breath to control my emotions. It felt like a superpower. Meditation gave me the clarity and courage to further explore and learn ways to improve my health. I started to return to nature at every free opportunity. I'd always considered myself to have a pretty healthy diet. I ate a lot of meat and vegetables, but also had a lot of processed foods and sugars. I told myself this was okay because I was skinny, but really my body was inflamed and I was losing muscle mass slowly. My whole family now follows a whole protein and fat diet. It's honestly been life-changing for us all. My hunger to further improve my health led me into cold immersion therapy and ice baths. I had such fond memories of time spent down in the southern states in winter, chasing waves, and that incredible feeling the cold ocean gives you post-surf. Ice baths are honestly like a drug for me. It doesn't matter how bad I feel, 3 minutes leave me feeling so happy and on top of the world. Ice baths give me a peace, clarity, and help me further rebuild my ability to handle stress. Today I have so much clarity around what I need to do to continue to rebuild my life. My focus on meditation, diet, sunlight, ice baths and movement has allowed me to become a better and more reflective person. I've managed to establish my core values, which are family, connection, health and adventure. I feel as though my connection with nature is stronger than ever. I recognise and acknowledge the important part that it plays in my well-being. My advice for anyone dealing with mental health issues is to have the courage to be vulnerable and share with those around you. Make time to care for yourself. It's amazing what can happen when you go back to doing things in nature as we did all those years ago.